exist in the hydrated or solvated form or the anhydrous form. Okay, they differ in dissolution. Anhydrous form of ampicillin dissolves faster and is more rapidly absorbed than the hydrated form. In terms of the hydrates class, parang same lang siya with the concept of the polymorphism. With the anhydrous form of the drug, it has greater aqueous solubility because it has a higher energy state. Always remember, pag high ang energy state ng isang drug, ibig sabihin, mas mabilis siyang ma-dissolve. It dissolves at a faster rate. And when you have better dissolution or faster dissolution rate, of course, better ang bioavailability, better ang absorption. Thus, pag sinabi mong between anhydrous form of ampicillin, between anhydrous form versus hydrous form of ampicillin, what will we choose for better absorption? You will choose the anhydrous form. Bakit? Because it has higher state of energy, thus with the greater aqueous solubility, thus greater bioavailability. Okay? Paano naman pag solvates class? Just to give you a background about solvates. Kasi, solvates, it's the stoichiometric type of adducts where yung solvent molecules are incorporated in the crystal lattice of the solid. Thus, kaya tinatawag silang solvates. Okay? For example, you have a drug which has a crystalline form. Okay? Tapos, yung solvent mo, mai-incorporate siya dun sa crystal lattice ng solid particles of your drugs. Now, the trap solvent dun sa loob ng crystal form, okay? The trap solvent, a solvent of crystallization, you call that solvate, okay? Ngayon, class, just to give you an overview about solvates, take note, pag organic solvate daw, it's in the book, it's in different references. If it's organic solvate, it has a greater aqueous solubility than the non-solvate. So, for example, yung griseofulvin, it's an antifungal drug, diba? Meron siyang chloroform solvate. It's the organic form of griseofulvin. The organic solvate of griseofulvin, or the chloroform solvate of griseofulvin, it is more water-soluble than the non-solvate state. So, pag more water-soluble, diba, mas mabilis ang dissolution. Please, class, huwag kayong malilito between dissolution and absorption, okay? Your drugs need to be dissolved, to be in aqueous solution, kasi gusto nyong i-break down yung solid na drug ninyo into smaller particle sizes and for it to travel towards the absorption site smoothly. Now we move to the complex formation and the chelate. Before, when I was a pharma student, ang tawag namin sa kanya is chelate or chelate. But when I went to medicine, a professor said chelate daw dapat siya. So either way, you just search na lang, pero I'm gonna read it as chelate. Now, pag complex, it is a species formed by reversible or irreversible association of two or more interacting molecules or ions. An example of a complex formation, drugs plus clay such as kaolin and bentonite, or pwede din drugs plus proteins such as albumin or alpha-1 acid glycoprotein. Yung albumin class, dyan nagbabind ng inyong basic drugs, and yung acid glycoprotein, dyan nagbabind ng inyong acidic drugs. So, you have these examples of complex formation. Paano naman pag chelate? So, chelate, there are complexes also. Complexes that typically involve a ring structure formed by the interaction between a partial ring of atoms and a metal. Example, hemoglobin, insulin, cyanocobalamin. For drugs naman, that's endogenous, okay? Mga nasa loob ng body, chelates form are hemoglobin, insulin, and cyanocobalamin or vitamin B12. Now, for drugs naman, you have tetracycline. It forms chelate with metal ions such as calcium. Mga divalent ions siya, calcium, magnesium, but most commonly calcium. Ngayon, saan dito ang better absorption? Saan dito ang less ang absorption? Now, complex formation, they alter the physical and chemical characteristics of the drug. Pag tetracycline, in-add mo with calcium, it is less water-soluble. That's why, class, pag less water-soluble, ibig sabihin, less ang dissolution mo, less ang pag-transform mo dun sa drug into an aqueous solution. Pag less ang aqueous solution, mas mabagal yung travel ng drug papunta sa absorption site. And besides that, hindi mo siya mag-grind, mag-break into smaller particles. Kasi nga, mahirap mo siyang i-dissolve, mahirap mo siyang gawing aqueous solution. Now, tetracycline, this is the very reason why your tetracycline, you should not give it to patients who had just taken milk. Okay? Or worse, hindi yung pagsasabayin pa ng tetracycline and milk. That's a no-no because your milk contains a divalent ion, cation, which is calcium. And calcium plus tetracycline, this will now milk containing calcium will now decrease the absorption of tetracycline. If you have already listened to my lecture on antimicrobials, tetracycline is a macrolide antibiotic. It targets your 30S subunit. Just a quick recall, ano ang most common side effect ng tetracycline? It causes yellow discoloration of the teeth. And if you look into your handout, it was stated there that intake of milk will decrease the absorption of tetracycline. Ma'am, paano kapag doxycycline? Ganun din po ba? Of course, because they are under the same class. Next naman, pag ang theophylline, you add it with ethylenediamine or aminophylline will cause a better absorption of theophylline. Okay? Because more nagagawin na siyang water-soluble. How about cyclodextrin or any form of drug? Also, i-increase niya ang water solubility. Because cyclodextrin itself, class, is a very good hydrophilic agent. Next, paano naman pag drug-protein complexes? They do not cross membranes easily. They must dissociate to free the drug for absorption and excretion. Remember, I've mentioned before in your previous lectures, kapag protein-bound ang isang drug, less ang absorption. You want the free drug for better absorption. Next, drug dissolution. It is a process by which solid drug enters into a solution. Very simple. Kaya nga siya drug dissolution. A solid drug enters into a solution. Before absorption, mangyayari muna ang dissolution. What is the difference between the terms drug solubility and drug dissolution? Drug solubility again, okay? Pag drug solubility, it's the solute dissolving in a certain amount of solvent in a given temperature. Meanwhile, pag sinabi nyo namang drug dissolution, it's simply the process na yung solid drug particles ninyo, they enter into a solution. It's actually the rate-limiting step in the bioavailability of drugs with low solubility. The diffusion-controlled rate of drug dissolution is described by Noyes-Whitney equation. Next, partition coefficient. It is the ratio of the solubility of the drug at equilibrium in a non-aqueous solvent to that in an aqueous solvent. For example, yung ratio ng solubility ng isang drug sa octanol, which is a non-aqueous solvent, and then i-compare mo siya sa solubility ng drug in an aqueous solution. For example, water at pH 7.4. Partition coefficient, it is a measure of the relative affinity of a drug for two immiscible solvents. Hydrophilic drugs, faster dissolution than lipophilic drugs. Okay? Pag partition coefficient class, it is an index of comparative solubilities in solvents. So, kung gagamitin mo dalawang immiscible solvents, ibig sabihin yung isa water-loving, yung isa water-hating. For example, octanol and water, which is shown here. So, it's a parameter of the relative rate of partitioning from one phase to another. Drug that has high affinity for oil may have poor release and dissolution from formulation. For example, emulsions. Partition coefficient, we use this as an indicator for storage of drugs in fat. Okay, para to simplify things, ano ba yung partition coefficient na yan? Partition coefficient class, actually it's also called distribution coefficient. If I remember it right, tinatawag din siya before as distribution coefficient. Now it's more commonly called as partition coefficient. It's the ratio of concentrations of a compound in a mixture of two immiscible solvents at equilibrium. So, you mix the two solvents, saan mas pupunta or mas magdi-dissolve yung drug mo? Dun ba usually ginagamit is water for the water-loving part, and for the water-hating, it's the 1-octanol. Okay? Or water-fearing, it's the 1-octanol. Now, yung ratio kasi ng partition coefficient, it's a comparison of the solubilities of the solute in these two liquids. So, makikita nyo kasi sa formula, which the next lecture, i-discuss ko, yung mga about calculations. Yung partition coefficient, isa-solve mo siya, ang numerator mo, is yung solubility niya sa oil, okay, sa octanol, divided by dun sa solubility niya sa water. Okay? So, since numerator mo yung octanol, pag increase ang solubility mo doon, of course, increase ang partition coefficient mo since nasa numerator siya, di ba? They are directly proportional. So, increase, increase. So, pag increase ang partition coefficient mo, ibig sabihin mas your drug is water-loving and then mas lipid-loving siya. Okay? Kasi mas mataas ang solubility niya dun sa octanol, which is non-aqueous or water-insoluble. Please remember this class. Dati, minimemorize lang namin yung mga definition, like that. Kasi pharma, it's more on memorization. But once you understand it, mas madali yung approach, mas madaling maalala. Basta intindihin nyo lang. Pag partition coefficient, i-compare nyo lang yung solubility niya sa dalawang solvents na immiscible. Okay? Alam nyo naman na for sure kung ano ibig sabihin ng immiscible, right? So, in determining the partition coefficient of a drug, you use two immiscible solvents. Usually, ginagamit dyan is water and 1-octanol. Next, we have extent of ionization. Diba? Does it ring a bell, yung ionization? Before, I was mentioning ionize and ionize. Now, the extent of ionization, it depends on the pKa of the weak acid or base, or your drug, and also, it depends on the pH of the solution. I just want you to remember this class, okay? Itatak niyo na to sa utak niyo. Ionized form, it is more polar, thus more water-soluble than the non-ionized form. If it's more water-soluble, it has a good dissolution rate. If it has good dissolution, better absorption. Please look into this picture. Medyo mahirap tong intindihin, but I will try my best to explain it to you. You have here the first column, okay? The blue area. The solution or this area, it has a high pH. Actually, this is a picture of your intestines. It's a basic environment. In your small intestines, you have around more than 7.45 to 8 pH. Basic talaga siya. It's a basic environment. You have two substances, the weak acid and the weak basic substance. Ano dyan ang mas maa-absorb? Okay? First, let's look into what's happening with the weak basic substance. The weak basic substance becomes an ionized in a basic environment, hence more lipid-soluble. If it's more lipid-soluble, it has better absorption. So your weak basic substance, in its unionized form, it has a better absorption in the small intestines, which is a basic environment. Okay? Meanwhile naman, yung weak acidic substance, it becomes ionized in the basic environment, hence more water soluble, hence easily excreted. For weak bases class, the general rule is yung pH nyo kasi higher than the pKa. If you have a weak base, syempre mataas ang pH niyan, 'di ba? pH is higher than the pKa. This is a relatively unionized state. If it's unionized, remember what I told you before, it is more lipid soluble. Thus, for a weak base in a basic environment such as the small intestine, the absorption is better. It's better, okay? Meanwhile, kapag sa acidic naman, for weak acids, pH is lower than the pKa. If pH is lower than your pKa, this means that it is relatively unionized. Again, if it's unionized, it is more lipid soluble. Thus, for weak acids in an acidic environment such as the stomach, absorption is better. Okay? So, medyo ang dami ko lang sinabi, but the bottom line is for weak bases, they are better absorbed in a basic environment such as the small intestine. Meanwhile, ang weak acids nyo, they are better absorbed in an acidic environment such as the stomach. Okay? So, class, meron way kung paano nyo malalaman yung percent of ionization. Okay? So, kung gaano ba siya ka-unionized or unionized. Meron kasing tinatawag na rule of nines. I-discuss ko na lang para mas clear sa inyo ang extent of ionization. Yung pKa na sinasabi ko, class, please remember, it's the degree of ionization. It's a measure of the degree of ionization, kung gaano ba siya ka-ionized. Okay? So, please look at the slide, percent ionization or rule of nines. Ang ginagawa nyo kasi dyan, minaminus nyo yung pKa from the pH. The value of pKa, which is the degree of ionization of the drug, ima-minus nyo siya dun sa pH. Na for example, you have a scenario na 1 ang magiging result nyo, ibig sabihin 90 to 10 ratio exists. Ibig sabihin, 90% is ionized. Okay? 90% of your drug is unionized. Is unionized. For example,